Hey everybody, so I'm back with a weekly makeup bag. I'm doing my weekly makeup use up kind of differently now. So I'm doing kind of like rotating through my collection. I have such a huge collection of palettes that I really just need to be using them all the time. I don't want to neglect them because there are a ton that I love. I declutter once in a while, but most of the palettes that I have I really enjoy. So what I'm doing now is I'm using a palette a day and just basically pulling from my collection what I want to use that day. So I open a drawer and I look through. I have these plastic drawers behind me. I just open them up, kind of filter through the palettes, and then I'm like, oh, I feel like in the mood to use this one today, and that's the one that I use. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let me get some of my pre-workout in so I can get some energy, and then we will get started. So the first thing I want to do is anything that's not a palette. So let me pick out the couple lip products that I have here. The first one that was on top was the Urban Decay Lip Liner 24/7 Glide On Pencil in the shade 1993. This is a very nice brown color. It is the color that is on the outside of the pencil, but you can see it there. So it's a really pretty shade. I like it for liner where I have like a lighter lip color. So here's the color. And I was using it in conjunction with the Anastasia Liquid Lip in Stripped. And this one looks like that. So the two together were a really nice pairing because this on its own is a little bit light for my skin tone, and I wasn't a fan of it when I just wore it by itself, but when I mix the two together, I think it comes off really pretty. So that's what I was doing for that combination. Then I used the Diamond Crusher from Lime Crime in Unicorn Queen. Now it is a purple and blue pink duochrome. It's very liquidy, and when it goes on the lips, it's almost like a cool feeling. You can sheer it out or you can build it up, but it's right here. I don't know if you can tell. And the different ways that it shifts, it looks different. So my boyfriend, it was funny, I wore it by itself on Easter, and my boyfriend was like, why does it have like different colors and different like chunks of like glitter almost looking? And I was telling him it's because it's duochrome and the way that you turn changes the colors, and he thought it was super cool, but he really liked that color. So I got it in one of their kits where it's like the half moon shape, and they were on sale around Christmas time, I believe. I found it at Marshall's though, so I was super lucky in finding that and excited because I had wanted to try them before, but finding them with such a steal was a nice addition. And then I have this one. This is in my Project Pan for the year. This is a Tarte Lip Surgeon's lip gloss in the shade Buff. It's just a very nice natural nude. I figured that I could throw it in my declutter because it's like an everyday wearable color. I can wear it to work, and so far I've used it a couple times, but I haven't used it super a lot of times. Those are not a good word combination. Ignore that. But I did want to just use it, throw it in there. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it in a couple months. If I love it or if I hate it, then I'll, decide whether I want to keep it in my Project Pan or not. I had this nude lip in pink chocolate from the Ulta brand, and I really like these. These are often on sale during the 21 Days of Beauty, and that's pretty much what it is. It's a pinky nude, like a pinky brown, so pink chocolate is a great name for it. I love the texture of these on the lips. They're not matte, so they don't dry down, but they are just like a nice satin finish, like a traditional lipstick. I don't think they have a scent. No, not much of a scent either. I hate when you buy lipsticks and they have that fakey, like plasticky scent or like a floral scent. This doesn't have anything. They're really nice. So check those out if you haven't already. And then I was using my CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation in the shade L50. The shade name is Fair Beige, and this is pretty deep for a fair beige, honestly. But I like this formula. You can see how much I've used up there. It comes out like a moussey texture, which is what I like in my foundations. I have the Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation. That's one of my favorites of all time. So this is kind of similar to that in the texture. And I really like the way this looks on the skin. I just was moving it out of my collection because something is breaking my skin out really bad, and I'm trying to get that under control. I don't know if it's the foundations that I'm using or if it's my skincare. I just recently purchased the Drunk Elephant sets again, the like mini sets, so that I can incorporate all of them. But with the Sephora sale coming up, I want to try to go back and buy like full-size products that I know I love. I like the TLC Framboos Night Serum. I like the vitamin C serum from them, and the Peaky Bar is one that I use all the time. I swear by that. So I really want to get back on the skincare, but I love this foundation. The only reason I moved it out is because I'm trying to isolate and see what's really bothering my skin. And I don't think it's this, because when I used it before I didn't have an issue. So I would recommend this if you've been looking at purchasing this and you like a matte foundation. Definitely this one's a nice one. Looking for other lip products because I know there's a few in here. I think this is it. So I was using this Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss from Essence. This is in the shade Happiness in a Bottle. Now, although I love the color, this has that scent that I absolutely hate. It's like a fake plasticky and or florally scent. And I love the doe foot applicator on this. It's nice and big, but it's flat on one side. But I just can't stand the scent anymore, so I am getting rid of that one. Also, I used my Dose of Colors Truffle Liquid Lipstick, and I will swatch it for you. It's such a pretty color. It's a nude pink, kind of like that chocolate pink, or the pink chocolate from Ulta, but it's a liquid lipstick form. That's the one right there. It is really nice. I love their matte liquid lips. They don't dry down overly. They're not overly drying on the lips is what I'm trying to say. They're just really nice texture on the skin. And I can wear them all day. I don't really notice that it's there, and it wears off very nicely. And then I have this matte lipstick with Ulta Beauty and Melissa Michelle, and this is in the shade Dainty. Oh, it just came out of the tube. Please hold. Okay, so I've just figured that I'm moving that out of my collection. I'm not dealing with that, but it is a pretty bright pink shade there. I don't have time. I don't have time for this. I have enough lip products in my collection that I don't need to hold on to that. And then I have this Au Naturel, that's the brand, the shade is On Point. It's a liquid lipstick. I love the color of this. And it's, honestly, it's kind of similar to the other two. I didn't really notice that I was pulling so much for that kind of shade, but it's right here on the end. And it has a little bit of a scent, but nothing too crazy. So those were the lip products I used this week, and I really enjoyed all of them. So let's go ahead and get into the face products now. Okay, so face products that I was using. Let's start with some glow. Okay. For shimmer highlights, I was using some different textures to really see what I liked. I've been trying to use more natural ones for everyday looks. So I went back to using my Laura Geller Baked Brulee Highlighter and Honey Lavender. This was from Haute Look. I purchased this in a kit. It's really nice. It's a pinky shade on the skin. It's like a pink champagne color. But it's very light, very nice and neutral for daily wear. I like to use it when I'm going to work, so it's not overly, it's not, I don't want one of those like Seen from Outer Space highlights during my day job. I work at a school. I can't really do that. I mean, I probably could, but is it that, like, what kind of impression am I making? We're there to learn. We're not there for the makeup, although I'm always here for the makeup. But anyways. So I really like that for everyday wear. I also got away with wearing the Manizer Sister palette at work. I was using Mary Lou, and I used Cindy Lou a couple days also. So Mary Lou is here, the champagne color, and Cindy Lou is in the middle. It's the pinky one. I did not really use Betty Lou because it's a shimmery bronze shade, and I like to use that more as a shimmery bronzer in the summer. I'll use it on my shoulders, on my cheekbones even. It's just something that I really have to combine with the right products, and it takes a little bit of time to figure out how to use that. But I was using these two here. And then I went back to, for my not everyday wearing, Does that make sense? I don't know what I'm saying in this video. Please excuse me. I was using my Jeffree Star Cosmetics Skin Frost in Peach Goddess, which is gigantic, and it's a peach color, and it's one of those Seen from Outer Space highlighters, so it's very bright and pigmented. And then I went back to my glow kits. So this Anastasia Glow Kit in Gleam was the first glow kit that I ever purchased, and it was the first one that I was really drawn to. When they started coming out, I thought, I don't really know, but when I saw this one, I fell in love because I love a pinky highlighter. So I love using this Crushed Pearl one here. It's just a nice combination of like pink and champagne, and then this one is a little bit darker, Starburst. It's that Real True Peach. Now these you can use as blush toppers, or you can use as blushes or highlighters. I like to use these, a combination, mix them. I really enjoy this palette though, one of my favorites. And then I was using the Dream palette again. Went back to that. I used this on Easter, and I used it today on my lids. Not on my lids. I used it on my cheeks. I have Ethereal, which is a purple shade, mixed with Sunshine, which is a yellow, and that's what I have on my cheeks today. And I thought it was really nice. I thought it looked really good. Yesterday I used Unicorn, which is like a pink, but they all have a little bit of a duochrome to them, and they're really fun. I love these. Very pigmented again, so if you're not looking to look like a crystal ball, maybe you don't wear these to work, you know, but they are fun on the weekend or going out. I love the glow kits for that reason. I also used a couple different bronzers, so I purchased these from the 21 Days of Beauty sale. These were the two that I've really been wanting to get, but I never got my hands on them. I got the Sweetheart bronzer from Too Faced. It's a two-tone bronzer. One side is a little bit cooler toned, one side is a little bit warmer toned, and I just mixed them together and then use that as a bronze. You could focus your brush in one side or another and do it that way, but I really like it. It is a shimmery bronzer, so you have to like that, but it's not glittery. It just has a little bit of shimmer. Then I purchased the Chocolate Gold because I was looking at this for the longest time and really wanted it as well, and that one is more of a warm brown, and it has some golden sparkles in it. Let's see if we can do it like that. So it's a very warm bronzer. If you don't like a warm bronzer, probably wouldn't like this, but it is apparently their Chocolate Soleil bronzer with gold flecks in it, which I thought it looked really nice on the skin, but it is very warm, so you have to use a light hand if you're light toned, light skin, but in the summer it would look nice. It would look nice on the body, so just be careful with that one. And then I have this Celebrated blush from Tarte. It's a very nice cool tone pink. It almost looks like it's nothing in the pan, but when you put it on your cheeks, it just has that nice cool tone flush, and I've really been loving their blushes again. So I went back to using that, and I went back to using my Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette, the one that looks like marble. And I really focused on the lighter blush and then this strobing highlight down here. So this one here and then this one. This mixed together looks like a really light pink, and it's really, really pretty. And then this just has a nice subtle bit of shimmer. I really enjoy this palette. I just don't use it enough, but thought I'd pull it out and use it again. And then the last thing I have for face is my Cover FX setting powder. And this was a little sample that I picked up from Sephora. They had their setting spray, their setting powder, and then the primer, the blue cloud primer, or the one that's like to fight the blue light. The thing I really like about this powder is it's very thin. It doesn't sit heavy on the skin, and the sifter has a little lid that you just lift up and then it sifts out, which is so nice. Now this product I stopped using because, again, I'm trying to figure out what on my face is breaking out. I have it up here on my forehead, a lot down here on my chin, which I know is hormonal, but it's a lot more than usual. So I just started using this in the last couple months, and I thought, maybe this is it. I better stop using that just to see. So I'll update you guys if I find out what specifically it is, but so far I haven't found out, but I really do like this powder, so I'm not going to condemn it until I know for a fact that that's the cause. I really do enjoy it, and I would recommend it. If you've been looking into it, try a sample size. Sephora has sample sizes of like pretty much anything. It is really nice, and this is the translucent light shade. All right, and the last thing that I have in my video this week are palettes. So I told you guys that I've been going through the drawer, just kind of flipping through, seeing what interests me. Sometimes in the morning I'll wake up and I'll have an idea like, I want to use the Urban Decay Naked palette, or I want to use my Jeffree Star Alien palette, and then I'll go through and I'll just pick it out and use it. Other days I don't have something in my mind, but as I pull through the drawer during the week, I need a neutral look or somewhat natural because I work at a school. So it can be a green eye, but it has to be a natural green eye, not like a lime green eye. So I really base the eye looks off of that, but I also I have to be inspired by it. I don't want to use my makeup just to use it, because I find when I try to force myself to use a palette, I just don't go back to it. Right now beside me I have the Blue Blood palette, and I love it, and I have used it, but to sit there and force myself to use it because it's a brand new palette, I'm just not using it. Especially not during the week, I can't use it. But if I sit down, I'm like, I have to use the Blue Blood palette, then I don't feel inspired. So what I've been doing instead is just opening a drawer and trying to figure out what I want to use. So that's what I did this week. That's how I picked all these palettes. So let's see what I went back to using. So Easter was this week. I decided to play around and be kind of fun on Easter and on the day before Easter. I worked at a different job where I can be a little bit more open with my, so I'm back to being a little bit more playful with my look. So I used my Lorac Beauty to Brunch eyeshadow palette. Now this is a very pastel color, which I thought would be really cool for Easter because look at all the colorful shades, but natural-ish colors. So I can get away with a lot of colorful looks at that job, but I thought this was cool because it was pastel. So what I did was I went in with pancakes all over the lid just to set, and then I went in with Jelly Donut here in my crease, and then to deepen that up I went into Blueberry Scone, which is this color here, and so fun for in the crease. It deepened it up without being overwhelming. And then I combined that with my Dose of Colors Ideal Duo in the shade Lemon Drop. So on top, if you've never seen these, there's a cream and it's a light yellow shade, a very light yellow. And then on the bottom there is a loose pigment, and it's this shade here, this yellowy tone shimmer. And so what you do is after I did my crease, then I went in on my lid with this cream shade and I put that all over. Then I went in and put the pigment right over top. So that's how you're supposed to do this. So it layers the look and it makes it a bright but pastel yellow shade. Very shimmery, very pigmented, but still pastel. So then after I had that yellow, I went in the outer corner with this lavender shade, and it was such a pretty look because I had the blue in the crease, the yellow on the lid, the purple in the outer corner. So it's kind of like my Easter egg kind of eye look. And so I love this palette. I think it's great. The pigmentation of the pastels is really nice, and this Dose of Colors Ideal Duo is also really nice. I don't use it a lot, but this is a shade that I could be using every day for work because although it is shimmery and bright, it's a nice, almost like natural, neutral color. And then another pastel palette that I used was the Pastel Goth palette from Kat Von D. So I had used this about a week or so ago, and I went in to, I think I used the blue and the purple and the pink right in here. I used those and did a combination on the eyes. I can't really remember right now because it was a while ago that I did it, but I love this one too. It's a little bit more darker pastels, if that makes sense. It's not quite bright neons, but it's still in the pastel family. It's just a little bit darker than the palette that I just showed you, but great quality on this as well. I love the packaging also. Pastel Goth palette is really, really nice. I'm glad I picked that out again. Here's a little bit of controversial palette, which I don't want to hear about because, in my opinion, it has such pretty eye looks. But this is the Jaclyn Hill and Becca collab palette. Now, I know that a lot of people hated this, they threw it out, whatever, but it has 5 shades there, a shimmery color I used all over the lids. This one was in the crease, and then this was my transition color. This was in the crease. This is in the outer corner, and this was all over the lid. I love this. I think it comes out as a nice natural look every time, and pretty for every day, but not over the top shimmer. So maybe I'm in the minority of people who got this right away, so it was one of the better palettes, but I really enjoyed it, so I held on to it for all this time, and I still continue to love it. Now on my eyes today, I have this Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette, which is also another really nice one. So I took Myth right here, and that was my transition shade, and then I went in the crease with Magic, which is right here. All over the lid I have Trance, which is this shade here, and then in the outer corner I have Fairy, which is a purpley shade. Now I really like this because again it's colorful, but it is kind of more muted colors. These are the kind of colors that I gravitate towards. Not quite jewel tones, but along those lines, and it's got a nice array of brown shades here, and then you have this pretty green. So this is just a really pretty palette, and one that I kind of forgot about, but I really do love this, so glad that I pulled that one out. The other day I was inspired to create a very shimmery natural look, so I went back to my Dominic Cosmetics Latte palette, and her products are so nice. I love this palette. It's probably one of my favorite palettes of all time. I think the shimmer is really, really pretty. So I sat down in my chair and I was like, I need a palette that will definitely be high pigment, and this is the first thing I thought of. So I went in with Vanilla Cream as my transition, and then Caramel in the crease. To deepen up the crease a little bit, I went into Hazelnut, or I'm sorry, not Hazelnut, Pumpkin Spice, yeah, that was the one. And then I used Macchiato all over the lid. That was the bright pigment I was looking for. And in the outer corner, I used Mocha. So it was a really, really neutral look. I didn't even touch the two colors down here. But this palette is so nice. If you don't have it, you've never tried it, you are missing out. If I had to get rid of all of my neutral palettes, this would definitely be one that I would repurchase right away because it's very pigmented, really easy to work with. Her mattes are nice, her shimmers are great. So definitely, if you haven't already, pick this one up because it's so nice. I opened my drawer and I was like, hey, nostalgia, let's go back and use the Gwen Stefani palette. So mine broke in shipping, which I was really sad about, but here are the colors. Neutral, obviously, very cool toned as well, which makes it one of my favorite palettes because I love cool toned neutrals and just neutrals in general. So I used this one. I love this one. I'm so sad that this was a limited edition because I think it's so nice. And sorry if you don't have it, but I'm going to continue to show things on my channel that a lot of people don't have because they were limited edition. Because I bought it with my money and I think it's worth showing you what I'm using. So if you have that, pull it out. It's such a nice palette. Remember the greatness that comes from that. Then I used my Aspen Ovard Tarte palette, which is also limited edition. I don't know why. It seemed like it was super limited. Didn't hear a lot of people talk about this, but I enjoy this one as well. Very neutral. And I use this blush and highlighter as well, and they're so pretty. This one is nice. It looks like the other one that I showed you from Tarte, where it almost looks like there's nothing there, but there is. And then this highlight is very shimmery as well. Really pretty, great palette, nice shimmers and nice mattes. One of my favorite Tarte palettes of all time. And then another Tarte palette was my Tarte Linen Bloom. I looked into my makeup drawer and I was like, you know, I haven't used that Tarte Linen Bloom for a while. I should pull it back out. So it has some warms down here and some deeper tones. You can really make a nice natural look. You can have some lighter tones over here. I tend to use this one in the crease just to deepen it up, and this one, Funny Girl down here on the lid because I like a shimmery, you know, like you can tell from my eye look today, I like a shimmery champagne on the eyes if I can, because I think it just adds a nice brightness to your look and a nice awake look. So love this one as well. I thought about not getting this for the longest time, and then I was like, what am I doing? I need to go out and purchase that. and it's a great palette. Somebody mentioned in one of their recent videos that they just purchased the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. Oh, it was Tiffany Kling. So, hi Tiffany, if you're watching. You inspired me to use my Chocolate Gold palette again. This is what I wore yesterday for Easter. I used Rollin' in Dough on my lid to set my primer. Then I used So Bougie in the, as my transition shade is what I'm saying. Cocoa Truffle in the crease to deepen up. Then I used Gold Dipped all over the lid, and then in the outer corner I used Money Bags. I thought it would be cool to use Money Bags because it's a bright green, and I usually use a brown or like a black in the outer corner. Sometimes like today I'll use a purple, but I was like, hey, let's go for the green. I haven't used that much, but I love this palette. I love the amount of shimmer in here. I love also that they included the mattes that you need to set your lid, transition, crease, outer corner. You have everything you need in this palette. I think it's well-rounded. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it anymore, but thanks to Tiffany, I pulled mine out again. And a lot of people love this palette. It's not one of my favorites, but I do really enjoy it, if that makes sense. So it's not like if I had to rank all my palettes, this wouldn't be in my top like 20, but it is very pretty. So I was using the Soft Glam. And I mean, it's just because it's a lot of warm tones. I'm not a huge warm tone fan, so that's why I wouldn't put this in my top 20, but it has a lot of nice shades like Orange Soda and Burnt Orange. I really love because I don't really have much of that in my collection other than this. And I do like the shimmers, but I thought that there would be a little bit more payoff than there is on them. So I like this palette. I was glad I went back to using it, but still just not one of my favorites. I know a lot of people love this, but I don't know. I guess I'm just different. And then the last palette that I used this week was my Jeffree Star Alien palette. It's the size of my head, like, but it is really, really nice. I love this, and are you ready? So I used the Neutral Looks, which is crazy because this is so colorful. Like, why wouldn't I use the colorful shades? But anyways, I wanted to wear it on a day where I had to look more natural. So I used Tighten all over the lid. I used Gravity as my transition. I used Martian Soil as my crease, but I really kind of smoked it out and made it like kind of the focus. So instead of like my crease, you can see today is really deep. I kind of went up a little bit more, even making this kind of like a mixture of my transition and crease shade. And then I went in with Interstellar on the lid. And then I brought this Martian Soil back down to be on the outer corner because I really wanted to focus on that because I thought it was a really pretty color once I got it on there. I remembered how much I loved it. So another great palette. If you like neutrals, there's a ton of neutrals in here, but you get a little sprinkle of colors in here too to play with, and I think it's just really, really nice. So if you can get your hands on it, definitely pick this one up because it's something different, but very nice at the same time. So that's everything that I was using this past week or two. I hope you enjoyed this, taking a look at how I'm using up my products, and I will try to keep doing this every week or so just to kind of, so it doesn't build up and make such a long video. I know this one's kind of long. I'm looking at the time, and yeah. So I will keep you updated. I hope you have a nice day, and I will talk to you guys in the future.